I'm here tonight to provide a brief summary of some new regulations affecting our water system. Pardon me. Their impacts on our operation and an overview of our system itself. These regulations are related to the lead and copper rule, affect all water systems throughout the state, and are being put forward by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, which is the agency that oversees community water supplies. The village operates a community water supply with close to 17,000 service connections, providing clean, safe drinking water that meets all EPA standards, including the lead and copper rule. We have three goals as operators of our water system that include providing safe and reliable drinking water, having a cost-effective operation, and implementing stable and sufficient water rates. As you can see from this photo, a picture of Lake Michigan, our source water for our system is 100% Lake Michigan water that's treated at the Jardine Water Treatment Plant that's located just north of Navy Pier. It's treated by the city of Chicago. If you've been to Navy Pier, you can see it just to the left in that photo that's on the screen. The treated water travels approximately 22 miles west of DuPage County, where it's distributed by the DuPage Water Commission to community water systems like Downers Grove. The water is tested throughout the system, and the water leaving the treatment plant is free of lead. So these new requirements can be broken down into two main categories. One that you see on the left relates to lead sampling and testing requirements. The one on the right is public information and communication requirements. The testing requirements relate to our actions for where and how we collect samples. And under the lead and copper rule, we sample for lead every 3 years and have consistently met the EPA requirements with that standard. Testing and sampling requirements are not going to immediately affect the village because our next scheduled round of lead sampling is set to occur in 2017. However, the effect of the communications requirements will be seen more quickly. We expect to distribute lead-related information directly to as much as 2,000 customers during the course of this year. This is a function of 9 scheduled water main projects that we have, as well as notification for maintenance on other sections of water main. We expect an increase in resident inquiries as a result of this, as well as time helping those residents, and possible increase in permit activity. At this point, we estimate that approximately 10% of the services that lead to homes are made of lead. Now, the communications requirements, which I'll go into a bit more in the next slide, and in particular is bullet point number 2, where residents are notified prior to specific water main or construction or maintenance on their block, relate to this increased level of information that will be provided to customers about possible sources of lead in drinking water. There's an enhanced focus on exposure from lead service lines and corrosion of household plumbing materials. And studies have shown that when lead service lines are disturbed, either by the utility, meaning us, or the homeowner, lead can be released and may end up in tap water. Now this slide here illustrates a typical residential customer's connection to the village's water system in more detail. The water main, which you see here in dark blue, is generally a 6 to 8 inch diameter pipe. It's in this street and distributes water throughout the entire system. These mains are typically made of iron. The service lines, which in this illustration are in light blue, are smaller pipes of 1 to 2 inches in diameter that connect to the water mains and deliver water to individual homes. These service lines currently are made of lead, but also, of copper, but can be made of lead. Though this material was gradually phased out in the 1960s and was banned by the EPA in 1986. As part of our public information plan, we'll help residents learn how to identify if they have a lead water service line, provide advice on how to protect themselves from lead exposure, and recommend replacement of lead service lines. Now, as I mentioned, we expect this increase in information to prompt questions from residents, and we're preparing information in several different formats to help answer those questions. A more detailed report on these regulations is already online under the manager's report for tonight's meeting. An article on the topic will also be included in the June edition of the Hometown Times, and additional information will be added to the village's website. In some cases, individual letters will be provided to residents based on construction work that may be happening in their neighborhood. We're also developing informational videos